and then we'll open it for open coaching. Okay, so welcome those of you who are tuned in live. I'm glad you're here live because we're actually going to do some live coaching with you. And for those of you who are watching the replay, you want to watch this as if you are getting coached because it's so valuable to actually be in the energy and watching somebody else get coached so that you can take the coaching and apply it to your life. You look great, Kristen. I love it.
Thanks. I've
So
been going
here's
all day.
it's great. I love it. We're moving into March energy. So what I'm going to do first for this recording is number one, this is being recorded. So I'm going to do a short training in the beginning just to let you know how we're going to coach, what we're going to coach on. Then I will open it up for open coaching. So those of you who are here live who are going to get coaching, just know this is recorded. This replay will be sent out. So when you're choosing something, choose something that you're fine sharing with the world. And then also you can choose something that might be beneficial to either other moms, other entrepreneurs, because what's really valuable is when you are open and you're willing to be coached, it really, really helps other people. So I'm going to make sure that all of you are muted and then we'll open up. I know Molly needs to leave probably at the first of the hour or in 30 minutes. Kristen, how are you on time?
Should be good.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm just going to mute you and then we'll go into the training. So I'm not going to assume that everybody has watched all five or all four trainings I did with the comeback challenge, but this is what we're going to coach on today. And this is really about the results that you're getting and then evaluating the results that you're getting. So if anybody wants to take notes on this, you can. This is something taught by the Life Coach School. It's called the model and it's CTFAR, which is circumstance, thought, feeling, action, and result. So the way I want you to think about this is you have a result that you've currently created, right? It's the amount of money you have in your bank, it's your relationship status, it's how many clients you have. That's the result that you have. And then you're going to have thoughts and feelings about that. So that means your thoughts are going to they're going to decide how you feel. So what I typically see is people get really disappointed with the results they have. And then they think something like, well, I'm just dumb, or well, I'm going to have to work harder, or well, I guess the economy's bad. And then what happens is that causes a feeling in their body, right? And the feeling might be discouraged. It might be, I feel like a failure. I feel disappointed. And then that's going to drive any actions we take. So the actions would be like actions we don't take, like I'm watching Netflix. I am staying up too late. I'm not emailing and reaching out to people that I think I should be reaching out to because I'm feeling disappointed. And then that leads to our new result. So, what I want you all to think about as you're coming on here is think about okay, what result do I want to get? How do I want to feel? How do I want to think? And then what we'll do in our coaching is basically unwind how you're currently thinking and feeling. And what we know is if you don't yet have the result, we know that there's just a thought or a feeling in the way. And so this isn't actually that complicated. It's like, okay, great. We're going to leave the call with a new feeling, a new thought, and a new action to take. So I want to keep it that simple for you. And for those of you watching the replay, the way to do this is think about, okay, current life circumstance, if you run a business, is like we just had political change. We just had an economic change. That's just a circumstance that's technically neutral. Most of us are going to say, no, it's bad, and here's why. But notice the thought that you choose to think about the circumstance is going to affect your feelings. So, what I always choose to think, no matter what circumstance is going on politically, in business, and the economy, my thought is always, I know how to create clients. And then my feeling is always certainty. And then when I go to the actions, I'm like, okay, these are all the ways I've created clients in the past. I'm going to go to work to do those things. And then what I'll do after I implement is I'll see the result. I'll say, okay, how many clients did I create from this? Right? So this is what we want to be focusing on is what's going to drive our actions. And it needs to be like a positive feeling thought that's going to lead you to feel safe, secure, certain, sufficient, courageous, willing, and we'll tap into that today. All right. So as you both are preparing for coaching, I want you to think about, okay, what result do I want to get? And then I want you to think about what's in the way of the result. And we will start by coaching on that. And I'm actually going to call on Molly first because I know you've coached with me before. So I know you know this format. And then Kristen, you can kind of like think about what you want to coach on after this. So Molly, are you able to come on camera and unmute yourself? And then I'll just do a little more. I'll wait for her to come on, but I'll do a little more um, coaching before she comes on. So anytime you're watching somebody get coached, let's say they have a business and you don't, just use the coaching to apply to whatever area it applies to. So oftentimes we can take business coaching and apply it to relationships. We can take health coaching, or we can apply business coaching and apply it to health. So we want to just notice the way that I'm coaching and the way that I'm helping her shift, and we want to apply that to whatever challenge that you're having going on. All right, you ready, Molly? All right, go ahead and unmute.
Okay, I'm trying to get my brain together. I just had some things go wrong all of a sudden this morning. So, but I
It's
still
okay.
want to.
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, thoughts for, um, even under circumstances when you're trying to figure something out quickly,
Yeah.
how
Okay.
to still be like,
Well, the first thought is this is not an emergency.
Mhm.
Because something happens, right? And I know this because I've had refunds, I've had client email me, like I've had like drama. And I notice as soon as it happens, it feels like I need to do something immediately. So the first thing especially when we have emotion coming up, we might need to spend 15 to 30 minutes crying on the floor and like really processing the feeling. But then when we come out of that, we can tell ourselves this is not an actual emergency. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Because I've been with a negative bank account before. And I had to coach myself to be like, how is having a negative bank account not an actual emergency? And what I found was, okay, like the bank is not going to be able to seize my house today. They're not going to come get me tomorrow. Like I might get some overdraft fees, $29, but like tangibly, it's numbers on a page. It's numbers that are read on a screen. Like really, I had to coach myself to get like, yeah, and then my husband might be mad and we might have to have a conversation about money. But even though I'm still safe, it's still not an emergency. I'm still going to be okay. I'm still going to have food. May not have organic food, but I still have food. I still have a place to live. I might be late on bills, but I'm still okay. So I want to see how that lands with you first. Can you find truth in that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay. So we want to start there because when we're emotional, first of all, we process the emotion. We cry in the bathtub if we need to. But then after we process it, we get into this more grounded space. So your question, I want you to almost rephrase it because you're like, I need to solve this right away. Even just the way we ask that question feels as like an emergency,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
Well, just to be fair, it just something 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it
So
literally
I
just
feel,
happened. So you're
yeah,
actively, and I want to
yeah,
honor you for like being here and showing us the emotion because all entrepreneurs deal with this behind the scenes at some point where we get an email or we get a notification and it literally shocks our system. And so I'm glad I'm here to help coach you through this and anybody else, like we've all been here. So first thing, yeah, Kristen says honored to hold space for you. Yes, you're doing great, Molly. So let's take a couple deep breaths. And let's think to a time where you felt like a badass, confident, certain, problem solver. And tell me what comes up.
Um, I think that I have been solving problems repeatedly. Um, a specific time, I mean, probably even this year, this month, I think, um, I can think of problem solving.
I would go to a place where you felt like the problem was your bitch,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because these ones that are too close are
yeah.
still holding too much of emotion. So I'd rather you go far, far back to where you're like, I remember that thing and I solved that thing and I did so good at that thing. Tell me about that.
Okay. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm sure I have.
I know. Yeah. And take a moment, close your eyes,
Okay.
tap in.
I think that's longer ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Think about when you felt certain, confident, badass.
I kind of have a fun one. It's kind of silly, but it's
Yes, I want it to be silly. Let's do it. What do you got?
okay. I was laying on the stage in the middle of a show,
Mhm.
and all the cues went away, so I just had to start vamping in the middle of it, and I got everybody laughing, and I
Yes.
got myself laughing.
Yes.
That just came to mind.
Yes. And what did you need to think about yourself in that moment that got you to
Um,
start vamping?
I just that I could be honest, or that I can handle anything in the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to show you what we're doing here for everybody tuning in. Like, I want you to see this. And when you see this, it helps you. It helps you see what we're doing, which also helps you get out of the emotional response you're in, right? So, the circumstance was stage cues gone. The action was vamping. Like, you went right into vamping.
Yeah.
The result was people laughed, right? And then what we just solved for was what you said. What was it? You said like did you say
Um,
I know what to do or I can do this?
like I can act immediately. I can
Yes. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I
can
think it's
solve the
just like
problem.
I can act.
I can yeah, or I
Because if
can
you think about that, that's you stepping into like I'm a performer, I'm an actor, I can act. Or
yeah.
like I've got this.
Yeah. And that probably was actually there was interesting.
Uh-huh.
And then I felt safe to be free. I
Yes.
felt safe in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we know that the feeling is safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it was kind of like safe to be me or to be free.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we want to start with this current problem you have. We want to start with the thought, I've got this. I'm safe. Safe to be me.
Even though I don't know how.
Well, we don't let that thought override this first thought,
Yeah.
right? Because
Okay.
then when you think you don't know how, does it feel safe or unsafe?
Unsafe.
Yeah. So we're going to stick with I can act. I've got this.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not be able to access complete safety, but you know what you can access is courage. Courage is I am scared. This thing is scaring me. And maybe this thing does have a deadline, but we can access courage, which leads to like an innate feeling of safety. Like even though this is scary, I'm safe.
Yeah. And then what about the thoughts where it's like courage to figure it out, but um if the tools to figure things out, it's like I'm trying to stay away from the it's a lot
Well,
thoughts.
you could say something like, this is hard
Mhm,
and I'm capable.
mhm.
So you don't have to lie to yourself and be like, this is easy. It's a walk in the park. But you can be like, I've done this before. I've figured things out before.
Yes.
Do you want to share? You don't have to share the exact circumstance, but do you want to share a little bit of like either the circumstance or the result that you want to create?
Um, okay, well, I guess result that I want to create um comes down to create the creativity to bring it to more cash flow right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's get specific. More cash flow right now. You don't need to tell us a specific number, but you can. But you could just be like, I want one client at X package.
Um, because originally I was going to talk about um the new packages,
Mm-hmm.
that I want to create, and then that got knocked out of my brain a little bit
Well,
because
actually,
now
I
I'm
think
trying
this
to
is
solve another
good.
problem.
Just because something happened over here,
Hmm.
right? It's kind of throwing you off track of like, I still have a really good package and a really good offer,
Hmm.
and I can sign a new client today.
So that was one of the things I feel like I felt clear about, um, like the mini offers going
Mhm.
well, but then I'm like, wait, what am I leading it
Yeah.
to?
Well, let's answer that if you think
Yeah,
that'll help solve this. Because if your
I would.
thing is like, I need more cash flow,
Um,
then we need to stay focused on whatever just happened, right? 5 minutes ago. We need to stay focused on, I'm still doing this. I'm still creating cash flow. And so I can solve that problem. But while I solve that problem, and listen, I know this because I've processed refunds where I'm literally like, I have no money. There's a refund. I don't even give refunds, but like I'm just gonna have to give a refund. I'm gonna have to pull $4,000 out of my personal bank account. Then I'm gonna have to be like, I feel amazing. I'm great. Everything's fine. And still sell more packages, right? Because we can't let that circumstance define what happens in our cash flow.
and I don't want it to put pressure on it because I think I've been doing good connecting, like even for
Mhm.
consults or for like mini sessions. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to put the pressure of that on that interaction.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what my head's at
I
right
think
now.
that's really good. So think about it from client perspective. So you've set up mini sessions, you've done like these mini consults, kind of
Mhm.
like mini offers,
Yeah,
and you don't want to necessarily sell them at the end because you didn't say that you were going to sell them,
right, right.
right? And I think that's great. And what would be the most valuable next interaction for them?
Giving a possible next step solution
Great.
if they want it.
And why is it most valuable for them for you to do that?
Because it'll get them to where they want to go. And also, um, like there's things we've talked about where it's like, I know I could help more. Um, and then I guess that is where I like don't want to be pushy, but just still offering solutions.
Right. So remember, pushy is just a thought, and we only feel pushy when it's about us. So what I want to teach you here is like, yes, you have the goal of cash flow. Like you have a business, we all do. But there's also a result line for the client.
Mm-hmm.
What does the client get when they work with you?
It depends on the client, but then they get solutions, they get closer to their goals, they get
Yeah.
the results
I
they
would say
want.
you get people unstuck. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the value of getting unstuck?
You get what you want. You get
Yeah.
what you want, whether it's strategy or clients or money or
Yes.
something you're proud of,
Yes.
or a new skill. Yeah.
Yes. Which I also believe is you're helping them save time and
Mm-hmm.
money
Mm-hmm.
and stress, right? Like you're taking this stress off of them.
Yeah.
And you could actually put a value on this, right? You could be like, well, they're stressed. They don't need to buy acupuncture. They don't need to go to the therapist. They don't need to like shop online, right? Like you could think about all the things people do when they're stressed and stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could just put a value on this. What do you think the monetary value of getting unstuck is? Let's just make it up.
I think the stuck is a good one because those are the ones I feel like I am also um really enjoying with too, where it's like maybe it's less out of stress, but it's out of stuck. Like they just don't know how to get to the next
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
So what was the question?
So it's what's the monetary value of them getting unstuck? So it's like, I want you to think of you're giving them a gift
Yeah.
of getting unstuck. What's the monetary value that they'll receive on their end from getting unstuck?
So that's where it would range, but
I don't want you to think about your packages. I just want you to think
yeah,
about in general the value.
I mean, can be, but that range from thousands of dollars of value
Yeah.
of a whole different trajectory too. A lot of times of a whole
Yeah.
different like
Can we
yeah,
say like $2,000, $3,000? Like, is that reasonable to say?
yeah.
Okay. So you're basically offering them like, I'm offering like $2,000 of value, $3,000 of value to help you get unstuck, to help you move forward, to help you be creative.
I would say 3 to 5,000 and
Yeah,
this
there
is
you
what I'm
go.
thinking of. Yeah.
Exactly.
At least, yeah.
And we want to
What's the
start with
time?
something we believe, right? So I always start
Yeah.
lower so we can believe it. But we're
Yeah.
offering them 3 to 5K of value of getting unstuck.
Hmm.
So now when you're thinking about, I get my clients results, I'm offering them something. Do you feel the same pressure? Do you feel like you're being salesy? Why or why not?
Less pressure, less salesy. Oh, now I do have to hop off in one
Yeah, yeah,
minute.
you're good.
Um,
Just take, before you hop off, take the thought that you're going to think on purpose into the actions that you're going to take.
okay.
Tell us what that is.
I like that as well. The one good thing, I can still do what I've been doing, what I felt I like I'm good at doing, and I can take, and I can sit with that, not forever, but I can sit with this,
Mhm.
and then I can make a follow-up offer.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't
And you
have
can
to
make a custom
decide it right.
follow-up offer for each person if you wanted.
And that's what's been working better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if you just told yourself, I'm doing it right. I know what I'm doing. And in this follow-up, I'm offering them value.
Hmm.
Does that
And
work?
yeah, that works because I can solve it in a little
Yeah,
bit.
I can solve it. And then yes, you're gonna have to process that emotion, which is fine.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little space to do that. You know how.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, getting coaching, and being courageous. You got this, Molly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to summarize Molly's coaching here just for everybody. And then Chris, you can hop in if you've got something. So what I did with her, and this is for anybody who's like trying to get to a result and you're feeling very triggered by what's currently going on. You're like, well, currently I don't have money or currently I don't have clients. I took her back to a past memory that has nothing to do with her business. I took her back to the feeling that she could create in her body that has no weird energy attachment to it. And when we can just imagine and kind of get out of our problem for a moment and get into a feeling state that helps us feel calm or grounded or certain, then we can bring that feeling to our current problem. So what I always see people trying to do is they rush to like solve their problem and then they're solving it with anxious and anxiety and they're wondering why they can't sleep and they're working too hard and they're doing everything because they didn't take the time to actually ground themselves, get calm so they can get focused to solve the problem. So that was Molly's coaching. All right. Chris, what do you got?
I don't know what I have.
That's fine. You can brain dump all of it and then I'll help you.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. I just um I'm just there for Molly. Like,
I
you can
love
do it.
that.
You're gonna be fine.
Oh, we all think like we all have those moments, right? Where it just feels like it's
Yeah.
not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, I have
Yeah.
them all the time, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's literally like it's just it's good for me to just even watch the coaching and see it happening with other people. You know, some of the stuff that I do with myself when I'm like, what the hell am I even doing? Who am I kidding? Why am I here? I need more money. I need more time. I need a nanny.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. I love
And
that.
then and then just having that, you know, taking that moment where
Yep.
you're like, okay, I've made it this far.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are matching. How adorable.
Are we? Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah. You guys literally are matching.
My biggest problem.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go play with
So
your dad.
freaking cute. So we can coach hypothetically if you want. Like you can be the example of this because you said it, especially for moms. I need more time and I need more money.
Yeah.
And we can come up with how we want to choose to think about time and money differently. If we want to coach on that, we can, and we can do it hypothetically. Or if you're thinking of something like you're like, hey, this is the result I want to create in the next 30 days, in the next 60 days, we can work through a result, or we can just talk about this time and money thing because I think everybody has this.
Everybody has that. Let's do hypothetical because I do have some things, but I just kind of like joined on at the
Yeah,
last minute. And so
I
I
get
didn't
it.
have any time to organize my mind. but
Yeah.
it was still, I see the value in this, so I still wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But
Let's
yeah,
coach on
let's
time then.
just,
I think that's really good. We'll do that.
yeah.
I'll do a little bit more training and teaching on this. And then if you have anything pop up, just unmute yourself and just ask a question.
Mhm.
It'll be valuable because if somebody's watching the replay, they're probably out having the same question as well. Okay, so we'll keep going. All right. So I want to coach on time, and I'll use a couple of my own examples as well. So, and this is also really, really true if you have a business and you're selling something. So we're going to put time in the circumstance, right? And most people, when they look at time, they think I don't have enough. So I don't have enough time. I'm just going to mute you because there's a little bit of feedback. There we go. I don't have enough time. And then feeling, I'm curious for you, and you can just type it in the chat if you want, Kristen, like what feeling comes up for you? For me, when I think I don't have enough time, the feeling that comes up is anxiety. And then the action that I take is rushed, hurry. I get messy. I do things half-ass. I also tell myself like I can't meal prep. Like there's a whole other thing here, right? Like I don't have enough time, so I can't meal prep. And I ends up doing like I don't do things. I don't make time for things that are important. And then also I'll cut my meditation short time, like my meditation time will go down. My workout time will go down. Interestingly, my bedtime will go up. I'll stay up later. So because I don't have time, I actually stay up later. Yeah, Chris says panic. Yeah, anxious, waste time thinking about not having enough. Yeah. Yeah. I stay up late. Then I think about how I don't have enough, which is essentially the result that we get is we waste time. So the thought, I don't have enough time, causes us to waste time. So what we always want to notice in this is that whatever thought is here is always going to create the result. In the coaching we just did for Molly, it was like she was having an emergency. The way she was talking about it, which she was creating the emergency versus looking at the circumstance as neutral. So what I would get really curious about is there's a couple ways we can look at this. We can start backwards. So we can start by what's the result that we want to create? And I'm going to use this for my own coaching because I've been literally doing this with my coach for the past 6 months. So the result that I want is a morning routine, workout, meal prep, and 15 clients on my schedule, plus I call it 4x self-care. So what I learned in building a 6-figure business is it's essential for me to have 4 times the amount of self-care as I have clients. So if I'm going to add on a bunch of clients, I also need my breath work, my yoga, acupuncture, time to meditate, time with friends. So I want to fit all of this onto my calendar. And the result is truly I'm in control and I'm healthy and I'm abundant. And the reason I'm saying this is because there was a time when I had 18 clients and it was too much. But the only reason it was too much was because of my thought about time. So now I'm coaching myself to be like, yes, I can have that amount of clients as long as I think about time differently. So let's take out the action. And if you want to share your results that you're looking for too in relationship to time, Kristen, you can share them.
Yeah, they're all very similar. And like
Yep.
I keep going back to like, I say it funnily,
Mm-hmm.
humorously, jokingly,
Yeah.
but I really feel like I need a personal assistant.
Yes.
I mean, that's where I'm at with it. And then so I'm like, I need to figure out how to get a personal assistant because I am one of those people that I want it all. Like I want to be able to spend time with my family.
Mhm.
Being very involved in my children's life is very important to me. So I don't, I'm very reluctant to send them to a public school. I want to homeschool, but then I also have this budding photography business. And now I'm an ambassador for the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
and I've got so much stuff that I want to do that I have to figure out how to manage it all. And I feel like I know that there's some of it that I can delegate,
Yes.
but then it goes, time and money, right? Then it goes back to the
Correct.
cash flow where I need to get
Yep.
more cash flow. And if I could have more money,
Yep.
then I can have more time.
Yes. I think this is literally the pain point of every mom, like mompreneur, right? Like I have
Yep.
kids, I have my business. Like you have two babies. Your business is a baby and your baby is a baby. And so you're literally thinking about how to care for both of those things. So let's start with, so now this is like thoughts about money, right? We'll add this down here. But let's decide, what would having a personal assistant do? Like what feeling would it create for you?
Relief.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then what would be the tangible outcome of you having the personal assistant? Like, what does it free you up to do? Is it spend time with your kid? Is it spend time networking? Is it spending time in your business?
Yeah, I feel like all of it. I feel
Yeah.
like since I have so many things that I want to do, I find myself multitasking. So being fully honest, when I was watching your live last
Yeah.
night, I was on my Peloton.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
on a Peloton
Yeah.
and trying to listen to your live, and then my internet connection was all messed up because somebody pushed a button, and then I was like, okay, you do, yes, exercise is important to you, but the reason that I ride my Peloton is because I like the mental
Yes.
effects of it and the focusing and the breathing, and so here I am. But this, what you were doing was valuable, and I wanted to be a part of that, and so then I feel like I have to choose because there's so many things that I need to do. So like I feel like if I had a personal assistant, then I could, prioritize some things and be like, okay, today this is what my priority is. It's going to be, spending time with the kids. So
Mm-hmm.
while I'm doing stuff with the kids, I can have my personal assistant be doing stuff for my business. And
Yes.
and then and then the other way around, where it's like, okay, today I need to focus on my business. I can have my personal assistant like do some stuff that I need to do to take care of my kids.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I just multiplicity. I just need more of me.
Okay. So let's get this. I have a couple ways to coach you on this. The first question would be like, how could it be possible now to have a personal assistant? Like I like asking that question. I also like asking like, what's a reasonable investment now? And
Mhm.
literally being like, could I put $200 a month to somebody? Like, could I pay somebody 3 hours a week, $12 an hour? Like actually starting to figure that out.
I am so glad you said that because I have
Uh-huh.
actually been thinking that. I have been
Yes.
trying to put a number on it.
Yes. And so I think we could coach through that. But before we coach that, I want to offer this other thing. So a lot of people think when I get the personal assistant, that's going to solve my problem. And yes, it will. We're not going to like
Maybe.
lie about that, right? However, the problem that you're having is focus. So we also need to make sure you're managing your brain so that when you get the personal assistant, you are able to focus.
Right.
And so you can solve this in two ways right now. You can start problem solving for, here's how I could actually bring on, and let's just say personal assistant in quotes, because really you might just have two or three providers. You might have a house cleaner, you might have a babysitter, and
Right.
then you might have a virtual assistant.
Right.
Maybe it's not one person,
Sure.
maybe it's incrementally one of those people.
Which is fabulous because for me, it's always been one person, and
Yes.
exploring the possibility of having multiple
Yes.
people is
Yeah.
even better.
So let's problem solve for that. Let's start with, I always like to ask the question like, what's the easiest, most direct way to free up your time, which is going to free up your focus? Is it childcare? Is it house cleaning? Is it meal prep? Is it a virtual assistant to like go through your email inbox? Like, what do you think? What comes out first?
For sure, it would be childcare, and that's the one that I've been focusing on. Like, if I
Mhm.
could get somebody for like 5 hours at a time, 3 days
Yep.
a week, so that I can take my butt and go somewhere else, even if it's just down the road where
Yes.
I because that happens all the time where
Mhm.
I'm like trying to do stuff here and
Yes.
then I can't even think and then it's screwing everybody over because then I'm short with my children because I'm
Mhm.
trying to hear myself think about something else
Yep.
and then I'm like I want to be with them and then why am I it's not their fault, they're just being
Yes.
children.
Yes.
So
Yes. And I think this is very common with trying to work in the home with family also in the home. It's
yeah,
tricky.
it's not
Yeah.
what it's all cracked up to be
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can hear them.
Yeah. Yeah. And your ears are always attuned to them. So let's start with a baby step, right? So maybe your goal is 5 hours, 3 days a week. That's your goal. And maybe you
Mhm.
can put that on like your 6 month goal. And then you can do the math on like, okay, how much revenue would I need to create to have that as a goal? But what could be your short-term goal? Could it be 3 hours once a week? Like what, I'm just making that up.
You're fine. I don't know. I can't.
Because I think you need to be really clear on, are you doing an income producing activity in that 5 hours where somebody is watching your kids? So that
Right.
on the back end, you're proving to yourself, when I invest time in childcare, I always get my ROI. I'm always getting my return on investment.
Sure. And I think that would be true because like right now, the project that you helped me
Mhm.
with, I've got it part way done, but I need to get it all the way done so that I
Yes.
can start marketing it so that I can. So immediately is that ROI there? No, but I'm definitely willing, like it's definitely worth investing, 10, 15, maybe even $20 an hour a handful of times so
Yes.
that I can get that done because like the way that my business runs is it's not it's big chunks of money at a time,
Hmm.
but it's spaced out farther.
Yes.
So, if I can get 40 hours, if I can get a 40 hours in of a work and get all of the stuff that I need to do and sit down and get my ads ready and get
Hmm.
my schedule some posts and do all of that, then yeah, it ultimately will be worth it when I sell the spots for the event.
Yes. So I think that's where we need to start, is like, it's worth it and it does give me an ROI. And I think moms have the hardest time with this because they have a hard time like stepping away. There's like a mom guilt, usually stepping away from the kids. Then they have a hard time with like, I'm spending money that I don't have yet in order to
I'm
make
an
money.
expert at that.
Yeah. But when we think about it, right, we do this all the time. We go to college, we just like give them all our money, like hoping that we're someday going to get a job.
Hmm.
And nobody thinks anything about that. So I think there's just a little bit of like mindset shift for entrepreneurship on, my time. Like, you are the asset, you are the
Yeah,
income producing person in your business.
that has definitely been the biggest mindset shift, almost said
Yes.
on that one, is really realizing that, yeah, like your time is your most valuable asset.
Yes.
And so when I'm, doing mundane things that somebody else could be doing for me, instead of using that time to do stuff that is preparing to or generating
Yes.
income, then how much money am I actually losing because of that?
Correct. So I would look at this more of like, currently I'm losing money by not having childcare.
And that's where I'm getting at it.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I've also learned that not all debt is bad debt and being able to like invest in myself and my education. And yeah, I'm putting stuff on a credit card now, but
Yes.
I'm not doing it just willy-nilly. I'm doing it thoughtfully. I'm like, okay, yes, something is $4,000 now, but if I get one or two clients from this, then I can pay that back. And then that knowledge is mine forever. And then the ROI just continues to snowball.
Yes.
So I think I'm in the right space there.
Good. Okay. So I just did a little math for you
Okay.
on 3 hours a week, $15 an hour, 4 weeks out of the month. That would be each time. So three, I'm just going to double check my math. $45 plus tips. So maybe let's call it $50, right?
Mhm.
$50 a week. And if you think about, okay, if I had an extra 3 hours a week just to focus on my business and I invested $200 in order to get that extra time, how much money do I think I could create with that extra time? Or how many clients could I create?
My goal ultimately is to have 3 clients a month.
Mhm.
So one a week, and my average sale is around $3,000.
Yeah. And so
And the
you're,
way that the
Mhm.
way that I've been successful in getting my clients is tried and true, and that's connection marketing. I have wasted a lot of money, but you live some and you learn some.
Yeah.
Paying for expensive things
Mhm.
from, you know, commercials to
Correct.
targeted ads with ad agencies, and I've always put a limit on it, 3 months. If I don't see one client in 3 months from that, then I can't keep doing that. And I've not got a client from any one of those, but what always works for me is getting out there. And so again, that comes into having that childcare time so that I
Mhm.
can get out and do stuff in the community, and I can meet people, and I can show them how I can make their life feel more elevated.
Yes. Okay. This is so good. So I want everybody listening to this replay. You said something gold, and we're just going to use your example, and I've done it too. Of like if you're building your business under 100K, not at six figures yet, like connection marketing is the way to go. Period. It's free. It just costs your time. And yes, it may cost money in childcare, but it still always gives you a higher ROI and a better conversion than ads do. So I want everybody to hear this.
That's a
Ads
fact.
and marketing and like all of these things we think we need, we don't need it. So I'm loving that you're like, I know what works. I know how to do it.
Well, and the thing of it is I had such an amazing mentor who has definitely a six-figure business, actually more than that, in a
Mhm.
photography business. And she just really harps on that from the beginning.
Yes.
Like your best asset, especially as a new business, is doing that connection marketing, that coffee shop marketing, where you're going out and talking and meeting clients so they get to know you, because that's also building brand identity, which is something that I specialize in, is building
Yes.
brand identity. But I still wanted to, test the waters and say, if I throw, will it work for me? Will I be the lucky one if I
Uh-huh.
spend $3,000 on this advertising? Will I just become famous and then everybody wants my services?
Uh-huh.
And that it's not me.
That's correct. Yep. I mean, that's what we all do, right? Like, and it's because it's always we always get shiny object and we always think that there's some secret that like
Hmm.
if we do this, it's gonna magically work and like we don't have to work. It's like, right? It's
They'll just be knocking down my door,
yeah,
and
that's
I'll have to
everybody's
raise my
dream.
prices so I can qualify my client. Sorry,
Yes. Yes. And
too
there is
many
a
people
certain
want me.
level that does work, and but it is more in the $1 million level when we
Yeah,
have two, three, five, $30,000 of ad money to spend each month. Right? Like
yeah, and
which
that's facts.
yeah. So it does work at
I'm
higher
not
levels.
Nike.
Yeah. But in the beginning, first 5 years, under 100K, like I love that you know already what works. All right. So let's decide what are your thoughts going to be about time now? And I think this is really important because your brain is going to keep telling you I don't have time. What do you want to tell yourself instead when your brain offers that? That's going to help you.
I know how to prioritize my time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe it's also like I know how to delegate. Like that's your first step is like playing with delegation, whether it's childcare, whether it's house cleaner. I've sent out my laundry before too, because I'm like, I'm not doing my laundry. Like I make
Yeah.
more money in my business. I don't make any money doing my own laundry. It's like
And
it's
yeah, because
yeah.
I've started doing some of those things. Like I don't always, but a lot. I have started outsourcing my editing because it's a skill that I have mastered. I know how to do
Yes.
it. I know what I want, but even knowing how to do it and knowing how I want it, it is so time
Yes.
consuming. So to spend a couple of $100 and
Mhm.
send it to my editor to do that stuff for me has been like one of the biggest like
Yes.
shifts in my business, because then I have that time. Instead of spending that time editing, I can be spending my time with my children, prioritizing, the things that I want, spending my time, going to these events and being out in the public and being out in the community, and, working on my brand identity and connecting with all my future clients.
Yes.
So
So
that's,
good.
I already know the value of delegating, or
Yep.
doing something like that. Now it's just, I guess I've got to apply it to a different area. And for some reason, it feels so much bigger than what it needs to be.
Yeah, and I'm going to offer this to you. I don't know if you've heard of this book or and anybody on the replay. There's one of my money mentors is Denise Duffield Thomas. She's got a podcast, and her book is called Get Rich Lucky Bitch. That's her
I
first
met
book.
her last year in
Did
January.
you? Was it at the photography conference? Was it down in
Yeah.
Florida?
Yeah.
Oh my
Eh,
gosh.
So yeah, and Megan, who hosted that, is my business
I
mentor.
love that.
Yeah.
So have you read both of our books?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to say it
And
again for those on the replay. Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And then her second book is Chillpreneur. And it is all about outsourcing, delegating, realizing that like you don't need to clean the house and run a business. Like you can actually pay somebody to do that. So it's just that mindset of thinking about delegating those things. And then the second piece, I think for you and anybody on the replay is the focus. So like if you get childcare for 3 hours, do you know exactly what you'll be doing during those 3 hours?
no, but now that I have this, these aha moments,
Yeah.
I will figure it out.
Yes.
I'll
I
figure it
love
out
that
fast.
thought. Like I will figure out how to focus and create money during those 3 hours. And then you'll have to experiment. But I think the other thought that you have that's really, really good is I'm clear on what creates clients. So like when you sit down for 3 hours, you also know I'm clear on what creates clients. I'm going to do one of those things from my list of the things that create clients. And then you'll always be clear on exactly what to do and you won't be wasting time.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'm going to wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to add? This is really, really good.
No, I'm super happy with the way this turned out because I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know
I
what my
know.
problem is. I've got a
Well,
lot of problems.
yeah. Well, and that's how most of us are. We're just like, let's just talk about it and see what comes out of it. The one
Yeah.
more thing I want to talk about, because we brought it up, and if you have something come up, we can bring it up, but it's thoughts about time and money, right? Because that's every human. And then that's also going to be our clients' objections too. So I just want to put this in here. Money is technically a neutral circumstance. It doesn't actually have any meaning. And when you think about it, like it's just paper. And then when you really think about it, the US dollar actually doesn't have any value. Like we're in such a deficit that like we're all just pretending to believe that this thing has value, right? So like when you actually think about it, it gets a little comical.
I literally joke all the time that this is all just made up. All of
Yes.
this is made up.
Yes.
So
It's
you're
all made
stressing
up.
you're stressing yourself out about something that people just made up.
Yes, exactly. So like I think it's useful to go there and be like, okay, like get a little levity on money because it tends to be very dramatic. But it's the same thing of I don't have enough. And I just want to show everybody how this looks when I don't have enough comes out. Typically the feeling, like to me, this is a little bit deeper than anxiety. To me, this typically shows up as panic. Like actual panic, like I'm actually not okay. Like I actually, my nervous system is completely activated. And then the action is usually some type of buffering. So buffering would be like any action that you do to make yourself feel safe. So some people might like excessively save. Some people might excessively spend. They might be like, oh, I don't have any money, so I'm going to go on Amazon and like buy. Or they will do any type of other buffering that's like not, so they'll overeat, they'll over consume like Netflix. And then the result here is no new money has been created, right? Like these actions that result from panic are never going to lead us to taking income producing activities in our business. So what I like to go to is instead of I don't have enough, I like to go to the truth, which is right now, I'm okay. And this is even true if we have credit cards. This is even true if they're charging us 25% interest. This is even true if we have bills. Because in this moment, and this comes from the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, like in this actual moment, we're all safe. You're watching the replay or you're here with me live, like we are safe enough that we have a phone, we have shelter, we have food, we have lights. I'm okay. And to me, the feeling that this creates is reason. You may not feel 100% safe yet, but you're able to get out of the panic state and you're able to get into reason and logic. And then when you think about, okay, I'd like to create a result of more money, and I think Chris just threw out the $3,000, so we'll just use that as a goal. And we think about, okay, if I want to create $3,000, how would I feel? We can work backwards. What actions do I think I would take? And then we can fill in all of our actions here. So for Chris, if she wants to create $3,000, she knows she's going to do networking. She knows she's going to market this new thing that she has, get that done. She knows she's going to connect with coffee. She knows she's going to add value to people. And then she knows she's going to, I'm going to say like, market her value and make sure that people know like what the thing is that she has to offer. So anytime we want to create more money, we have to always feel like we are okay with our current amount of money. And I know everybody, like this is a little bit counterintuitive, but we never want to be activated from a sense of scarcity,
Fear.
anxiousness, because that's going to bring up the thing that Molly said, which is like, then we feel salesy. Then we feel like we're pressuring people. So this is a model. This is a way to think about it that's going to allow you to feel reason, logic, and then it's going to allow you to dump value into the marketplace. And anytime we add value, it always comes back to us as money. All right. Any other thoughts you want to add here before we finish up? I just wanted to address the money piece too.
Love it.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. So that is all we have for today. I'm going to write this down for you all again. So the way to do coaching on yourself, especially if you're like, I'm going to write this out again, circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. What I like to start with if I'm like going in my journal is I'll say like, what result do I want to create today? And then another thing I'll do is like, I'll just tap into be like, what am I thinking and what am I feeling right now? And if it's negative feelings, I just write them all out. And then I go, okay, what do I want to feel? And then I go right into the action line of value. How can I create value today? And then that always is going to lead to a result. And this is speaking to business, right? Like value is what you do for business. So this is speaking directly to business. Like this is how I get myself on board every single day is to deliver value. And then the value is going to create a result. So you all can use this. And then a couple of things that I said was podcast, Denise Duffield Thomas, and then her books, Get Rich Lucky Bitch and Chillpreneur. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you to Chris and to Molly for being our guinea pigs for coaching today. And if anybody is watching the replay and you want more coaching like this is what it's like to work with me. If you want to know what it's like to work with me, come book a free consultation. Free consultation, CamiKennedy.vip. We do a 60-minute call completely focused on you, your goals, what's getting in the way, and we create a plan. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you, Chris, for being here.
Yay. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.